that season we avoided relegation but then the following season, 71-72 is when Alec Wright was sacked then, and then George Miller came in, and he went kind of young players, so the likes of Ken Mackey came in, and Graham Shaw and Jim Scott.
Jim Scott had been there. He was a 15-year-old here. Used to clean my boots. I was only 18 or 19 or something like that, but he did that, and Jim came in. But yeah, there was no doubt that at that time. Now, you think now we're approaching the season. We were relegated in 72.
Yep.
That's right. Well, I was in dispute with the club. My wife and I got married in December 1971, and we were down at in Morton at Capula, and Alec Wright said I was getting married on the Monday, December the 6th, the same day that I'd made my debut for Dunfermline against Motherwell, December the 6th, Monday, December the 6th, and George McLean, he stayed in Dundee. He'd moved away to Ayr United at that time, and Shug Robson, he was staying in Dundee. They were both invited to the wedding, and Alec Wright said, if you win today, he says you can have Monday and Tuesday off. Right? Didn't win. I was getting married at 3 o'clock on the Monday, but he let me off on the Monday, but I had to go in training on the Tuesday. And I just bought him, it shows you that the money I'd been earning. I was only 72 years. I was 20 years old when I got married, and I'd 9 months earlier in March, before I was married, I bought a brand new Betts house, obviously with a mortgage.
Yeah.
But I was in a position, I had the finances to pay the mortgage off over a 25-year period, and made commitments, etc., etc. And my wife was working for BT, who were a new company instead of the post office. So when this happened, that we got relegated, and George Miller came along, he approached me, and I was one of the valuable players.
Yeah.
I was probably the most valuable player I had at the time, right, for want of a better description. And he knew that, and he said to me, so here's the wages for next year. So I was getting £34 and £5 from previous managers, and he said, we'll give you 25 quid a week. I said, I've got a mortgage of £36 a month. 25 quid's no use to me. And he said, well, that's all we can afford to pay you. And it'll be £10 a point. And I said, well, I can't play for that. And he said, what are you going to do? I said, well, I'll just not play. So, bottom line was, the season finished, and I didn't sign a new contract. And your existing contract in these days was nullified when you were relegated. Right? But there was no freedom of contract in these days. So you signed a new contract, and the club could pay you exactly what they wanted to pay. And more importantly, if you didn't accept the new contract, you were still tied to Dunfermline Athletic.
Right.
And this had happened previously for a lot of players. Alan Gilzine, he did the same with Dundee. Ian Ure did the same with Dundee. A lot of players did that, just went into dispute with the club, and the club said, well, we're just better selling them off as opposed to not having them playing. So I worked that out. And I said to George, I said, so that's fine. My father had his own business, and he had said to me, I'll take you on, you can do some labouring. And I said, yeah, I can do that. So I didn't turn up. I started training July the 6th. I wasn't there. And my father had set up a situation where he went to a company called Watson and Phillip, who were VG food stores. You ever heard of them?
Yeah, vaguely.
They were quite a big company. Well, my father had fixed up I would get an interview with one of their directors, and they would look for a job for me. And they got me fixed up by a Swedish company who were based down in North Wales. They sold toilet rolls.
Right.
They were called daffodil toilet rolls. And I said, yeah, I'm interested in that. And they were going to pay me £1,500 a year. And I said, because I'm not liking this labouring thing. So it turns out that I was going to go down there for an interview. I hadn't spoken to Dunfermline. George phoned me and said there's been 2 or 3 clubs. And the clippings in there, McNicoll's on offer and all that sort of stuff. And he said to me, we're not going to sell you cheap and all that sort of stuff. I said, well, he said, and you still not playing? I said, no. I said, I'm not going to play because the part-time wage you're offering was £15 a week. I said, I need more than that. He says, you're going to give up the game? I said, well, that's it, that's it. So, you know, it was one of these contests, so to speak. And then he phoned me up, and it must have been, I don't know, 4 days after they'd started training. He said, I've had Bill Shankly on the phone. He knows you're in dispute with the club. Would you be interested in going down and doing a couple of weeks pre-season training with them at Liverpool? I said, aye, of course I would. Because I'm saying to myself, this is it. And he said, okay, I'll fix it up. Phone me back. He said, we're going down on Sunday, I'll drive you down. So George, I came over here, drove me down, all the way to Liverpool, and met Bill Shankly, right? Lime Street Hotel, I think it was called or something. And he said, hi George, blah blah blah. And he said, he says, I'll look after Dave, you can get off home. So George just had to turn about his car, come away back to Dunfermline. And Shank said, my car's round here, he says. And I goes in and I look, and he's got this. You remember Ford Capris? They were popular with footballers. He's got this bright orange Ford Capri. And I get into the passenger seat, and he's in the driver's seat. Puts it in first gear. He says, we'll go to the ground. We're up to 30. And he's speaking all the time about football, and he's going 30 mile an hour in first gear, and then he put it into second. A bit of relief. And he's up to 40. And he's telling me all about Liverpool, etc., etc., and he's asking. And Lou Macari was in a bit of dispute, Celtic. And then he said to me, he said, what do you make of that wee fella Macari? I said, good player, really good in the box, he's on the end of everything. Aye, I like him. We're maybe going to go after him, I think. You think it would be a good idea? I said, oh, aye, definitely. So we got all the way up to Anfield. And he gets into the ground, and he's kind of out and he's banging on the walls and all the rest of it, you know. He said, what do you make of that then? I said, what? He said, that's the best corrugated iron you'll ever get. I said, all right, aye. He said, am I right in thinking, he says, are you not from Dundee? I said, aye. He said, but you stay in Carnoustie? I said, yeah, that's right. He says, you weren't down here when you were a laddie at 15, were you? I said, I was. Christ, he says, now I'm going to pay money for you, and I could have had you for nothing. And we got on really well. Took me back to the hotel. He says, I'll get you picked up training. He says, Peter Cormack, he says, has just signed. He says, and he's staying in the hotel. He says, so you get in the same taxi as him or whatever. I thought, okay, that's fine. So went over there, gets involved in the training, etc., etc. And I'm loving it to bits. But Peter Cormack, his wife came down and he moved out of the hotel, and I was on my own. I said to Shank, I said, I don't like being alone. He said, we signed a guy called Keegan. Kevin, his name is. He's a good lad, he come down from Scunthorpe. He said, he's staying with a Finnish couple, Mr. and Mrs. Lindholm. And he says, would you like to just move in with him? You'll get bed and breakfast and dinner and all this. And I said, well, that's a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
So Kevin and I roomed for 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
Kevin had a car, Capri, bright red, to go for Liverpool. And he was in the first team. He'd just broken into the first team, right? And he was under 23s for England and all that sort of stuff. And we got in that house in Far, really good. You know, we did everything together. And Shanks said to me, "Oh, you're doing well, son, just keep going, you know?" I said, "That's fine." Called me in the afternoon, on the Thursday afternoon, and he said, "We don't do any training at the weekend during the close season," he said, "so I'm going to let you go home for the weekend." He said, "So would you like to do that?" I said, "Yeah, that'd be great, so I can go home and see my wife." He said, "Well," he says, "you can leave tomorrow, early, Friday. How will you get home?" I says, "Well, I'll get something fixed up." And he says, "Okay." Kevin then offered me his Capri,
Uh-huh.
and I would drop Kevin off at Doncaster,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'd drive all the way up to Carnoustie. So I told Shanks, "No need for you to fix things up. I'm getting Kevin's Capri." "No, you're not," he says. No. You're not taking Kevin's car. Leave that to me, I'll get something for you." Friday after training, we're ready to go. He comes up to me, a brand new Capri from Hertz,
All right.
and he hands me the keys. He says, "Just one thing," he says, "drop a young laddie who's on the ground staff here." He says, "You can drop him off at here on the way up." I said, "Yeah, I'll do that, fine." He says, "Okay, so you go back and just tell your wife you're doing fine." So I went home. Wife said, "How's it going?" I says, "Great."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "So good," I says, "I think you should contact BT and just ask about getting a transfer down to Liverpool."
Mm-hmm.
She said, "Really?" I said, "Yep." They're talking about money. I said, "Well, Shanks mentioned it, how much money I would be looking for." I said, "Well, I'm getting 40 quid a week at Dunfermline full time, but I'm not getting it." He said, "Well, I'll pay you 80 quid a week." She says, "Just leave the rest to me." So I thought, well, that's super. And when I came back down with the, everyone was going tickety-boo, I went to the tailors to get measured for a club suit, because we were going to be to play a few matches in Germany, pre-season. And then just at the very end of the week, on Thursday, he called me in, and he says, aye, Dave, aye, we're letting you go home." Why's that? "I'm not paying that kind of money for a reserve." I said, "Well, I'll tell you, I'm not going to be a reserve in here." I said, "If I'm going to be coming down here as a reserve, I wouldn't have signed for you. I didn't play reserve team football." And he said, "That's the attitude I wanted," he says. He says, "But he says, no, Dunfermline have asked 65,000 for you." And he said, "I'm not paying that." I said, "I can't believe that."
Mm-hmm.
He says, "I'm not telling you a lie." He picked up the phone and he dialed George Miller. "George, we're letting Dave come home. 65,000 is just too much, as I told you. We're not paying that. So he'll be coming home, and thanks very much." And that was it.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Back to
Mm-hmm.
the Swedish company with the toilet rolls.
Uh-huh.
Because I was down at Liverpool, Kevin gave me his Capri. I drove to Harden, which was only an hour away, and I got the job.
Uh-huh.
Toilet roll salesman.
Right.
And I was still in dispute with Dunfermline.
Uh-huh.
And I said to George Miller, "I've got a job, so
Uh-huh.
bye-bye." But he came back and they gave me another £5 a week to make it £20 part-time,
Mm-hmm.
and I signed.
Right.
Because I had this new job, 30 quid a week, working as a toilet roll salesman.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. So you went part-time that season?
Correct.
And then...
And I didn't do any training either.
Oh, right. So where did you train anywhere else? Did
No.
you? No. So you just kept fit?
Well, I was driving about all over Scotland selling toilet rolls.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing so well, I got headhunted by Colgate Palmolive to sell toothpaste. I did.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I started that job in August, and in January, I was away to Colgate Palmolive. But I did do well, but I was still playing for Dunfermline every week, and as fit as I was, and the team was doing exceptionally well, and the youngsters that came in all did well. So I had a whole new classroom of mates. I did.
Yeah.
And Kenny Thompson, Jim Leishman, Jim Wallace, Ken Mackey, Graham Shaw, Dennis Nelson, I think his name was.
Yeah.
We'd well, the Callans and the Gardners and the Edwards and the Mitchells and John Arrow was the only one that stayed. Ernie McGarmouth, Alec Kinnemouth came in. I was virtually, if you think about it, I was on my own.
Yeah.
Right? As being somebody that had been there from 1969 all the way through. But I had a lot of experience.
Yeah.
And that was good for the team, and we did exceptionally well. And George Miller did a good job.
Yeah.
Ralphie
So
Brand.
you won promotion.
We did. Stirling Albion, I think, won the thing or something like that. But we were really good. And we got reasonable support. And it looked as if we could be on the threshold of something else. We did.
Yeah. And then it was the following season that you got your bad injury.
Well, I mean, that's just... That was 1973. And George said, "Are you going to come back full time?" And he offered me more money, and I thought, yeah. So I gave up the toothpaste. And I said, yeah, that's fine. And I started to pick up Jim Leishman and the Campbell twins. In the morning, I picked them up. And it was good. We had a good squad. How well we would do in the first division, don't know, but it was a good squad. But 8th of September 1973, playing against East Fife in the League Cup, I think. There was a guy called Kevin Hegarty, over at Methil.
Yeah.
He used to do a thing called Selling the Dummy. George Miller actually showed me how to do that. Where you just kid the guy on, you're going to go for the ball, he goes with you, and then at the last minute you check out and let the ball go past you, and you just turn. That's all I did, I just turned. My studs stayed in the ground, my knee turned the other way, and it was hellish bad. Andy Stevenson came on and said, "Just give it a few stamps, it'll be fine." Alright? No, off. Couldn't drive my car home. My knee was huge. And my brother-in-law, he drove the car home. And on the Monday I came down and I went down to the, what's the name of the hospital?
West Fife.
Yeah.
It would be the West Fife.
Went down to, I was down the way,
Yeah.
so I went in there. And somebody had a look at it and they said, "I just get this big bandage on it and try and get the swelling down." And they did that, and I'd go back and see one on Friday, and he said, "I think you've just torn one of your lateral ligaments." And I thought, okay, how long will it be out? He said, "Oh, it could be 6 weeks." Oh, jeez. So they said that, and it wasn't progressing as it should be. I couldn't get a full knee bend and things like that. And I went to see somebody in Kirkcaldy, a lady surgeon, and she gave me a general anaesthetic so that she could work on my knee to see, right? Because it was so painful. And she said something similar to him. And the team would, well, to be honest, they would definitely need me back in the team. So George said to me, "We're playing Aberdeen at Pittodrie." I thought, well, okay, let's give it a go, 6 weeks. 14 minutes into the game, up, headed the ball, landed on my left knee, buckled. That Saturday night, got my wife to take me up to Dundee Royal Infirmary. Guy took all the fluid off it with an injection. Says, come back on Monday. And I met somebody there who was a mister, a consultant surgeon. He looked at me, he checked it and all the rest of it. He says, you've got a cruciate injury. He says, and you've had it for weeks. Now, whether they'd been able to do something with it at the time, I don't know. When they were initially, but that was it. And I was out, and we went all through that season, but I was rarely playing. Jim Leishman had broken his leg against Hearts, I think. He did that just after me. So we were both out, and you don't like to think these things at the time, but your career's over and all the rest of it. But it was really just, and then eventually they took me in the end of that season, and we were March or something, and they took my cartilage out and just did confirm that my cruciate injury had happened. So I wasn't doing good, and the team, well, you know, replacing me, they didn't have any money to do that sort of thing. And it was, you know, a disaster for them as well. It was.
Talking about Jim Leishman, you played in the game, Jim's famous game at Ibrox, where he scored the winning goal.
I did. It was a fluke. That was the goal. I mean, it was the winning goal, and I tell you, we gave them all that we did. Was that the same? That must have been the season before, was it?
Yeah, I think it was.
I think it was. Maybe was it not? Maybe 72.
72, 73.
Because Jim got his injury in 73 as well, didn't he? Yeah, Jim was a good lad. I mean, he how could it, without being unkind, I mean, he was still learning the game.
Yeah.
Right? The lad Jim Wallace, who was on the left side, he was really good. Great left foot in him. But he had the ball. He closed his eyes. He did. And I tried to tell him a few things. There was a young lad called Alan Evans who came along, and he was good. This was before I had the injury and all the rest of it, but I used to go back in the afternoon and head balls against the brickwork inside the ground and all that sort of stuff, and he asked if he could join in. And I said, yeah, of course you can. And he went on to become a good player. He did.
So you were eventually freed by Dunfermline at the ripe old age of, what, 23, were you?
So that's, again, as I say, because I just couldn't play, it was night, so it must have been 75. So I was 23 years old, and they sent me to see Professor Smiley, who's the top man in Scotland on orthopaedics and knees. And he said, this is the letter I'm going to be sending back to him. In his opinion, Mr. McNicoll, his full-time career is over. That was it. And I was getting a free transfer. So that was the tragedy is for me. If they'd taken the 40 or 45,000 that Shanty was willing to pay, we wouldn't be having this conversation today. And they would have got money for me, but they ended up getting nothing for me. And believe it or not, George Miller, I met him here in 1985, and he came up and he apologised to me. That he'd had a lot of offers, you know, in the time he'd been here, but he had one, he said, from Hibs and Aberdeen, and he said, but the board, they run the finances of the club, and he says, I said, well, you were just doing your job. I mean, he wasn't deliberately But I thought it was a great thing he did. Just to come and say, he apologised the fact that he knew my career. I'd have still been maybe even playing in 1985, I don't know.
Yeah. But then you went on to play for Montrose. You had a good couple of seasons at Montrose, and then you went on to Hearts and St Johnstone.
It was not like the halcyon days I had here.
Yeah.
Because I knew what I was going to do. I was going to be a gym teacher, PE teacher. I'd applied to Jordan Hill. Do you remember them? Jordan Hill in Glasgow. And I didn't have a job or anything like that. And they said, okay, so I also applied to be a primary school teacher because my manager at Montrose was Alex Stewart. And he did exactly the same. He became a teacher, primary teacher. And so I went to college as a full-time student when I left here. And started that in 1975. And he said to me, if you sign for Montrose, he said, I can give you a £1,500 signing on fee. He said, but I'll only pay you after you've played 6 games. So you've got £250 per game. I said, well, that's fine. But I didn't do much training. Every Saturday or Wednesday when we were playing, I rested my knee. And within just the end of that season, the end of the next season, lo and behold, my knee gave me more bother and I had to go back and get another operation for removing floating bones and things like that. But lo and behold, we played against Hearts. This was in the next season. And they'd just been relegated as the first team from the Premier. And I didn't know, but Willie Ormond was the manager and Bert Payton was their assistant manager. And we beat them 2 or 3-1. And I was playing against them. You ever heard a chap called Drew Busby, remember him?
Yes.
Willie Gibson?
Yep.
They had a good team. Eamon Bannon, he was only 17 or 18. But we beat them because we had a good team at Montrose. And all I was doing at the back was playing sweeper and shouting instructions. That's all I did. Yeah, I did more, but that was my general rule for the game for them. And after the game, they were getting in the coach and Bertie was waiting for me. Did he tell you this?
No.
He was waiting for me outside. And how you doing, big man? I said, all right, BP. He said, you played well there, eh? I said, all right. You wouldn't be interested in signing for us, would you? Hearts. You having a laugh? He said, no. He says, we're needing somebody like you at the back. We're just losing too many goals. This was a Wednesday night. I says, well, you need to speak to Kenny Cameron, he's the manager. Thursday night, I'd been out for a few pints. Got home, 9:30, 9:45, and my wife said, Kenny Cameron's been on the phone. You have to phone him. Phoned him up. He says, did you get tapped by Hearts last night? I says, no. No, what are you on about? He says, Willie Ormond's been on the phone. He wants to meet you tomorrow in Dundee. And I was working at this time. Instead of going to PE teacher and all the rest of it, I got a job with TC Thompson's as a trainee journalist. So I was working full time. And instead of being in the Sporting Post and all the rest of it, they put me in Women's Magazine. So that's where I was working. Anyway, so he said, meet Willie Ormond tomorrow. Can you meet him? I said, what time? He says, 1 o'clock at the Angus Hotel. I says, so how much are they willing to pay? He says, £13,000 they're going to pay for you. I said, my knee's absolutely gassed. He said, so I said, okay, well, so went down there Friday, 1 o'clock, Angus Hotel. Bobby Parker, you might not remember him, but he was the chairman of Hearts. He was an ex-Hearts player and all that sort of stuff. And he had a big white Jaguar, and Willie, they were waiting in the car park and I went up and met them. Willie liked me because he capped me for under 23s when we were in the second division at Dunfermline. Well, he put me in the squad, right, took me down there. This is when it was Danny McGrain, Ken Dalglish, all the boys, Asa Hartford. That's the level I was at. And it was very rare for somebody to get picked from the second division into the... But Willie liked me. He tried to sign me as St Johnson from Dunfermline. Dunfermline said, "What's on you, for Christ's sake." So Willie liked me. And when players like what playing for Montrose, he knew I was still doing a job. And so he said, "So we'll get you signed up. And we're playing Dumbarton tomorrow." So I got a train over.
Alright.
And I turned up the ground at 2:20 because the train got in at, what's the station just before the Edinburgh one?
Haymarket.
Haymarket, yeah. And I'm on there, and all the Hearts fans are coming down, and I'm walking down there. They're kind of looking at me because it's in the paper and everything for the Hearts. I get into the ground at 2:20. Well, he says, "Where have you been?" I said, "I had to get the train over." "All right, okay." Right, get stripped, we're away. Beat them 2-1. Then the next week we're at Dundee. I don't know if we beat them or whatever. We only lost one game to the end of the season. So that was a good thing. And then at the end of that season, he said to me, "We got promoted." And he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, just give me a free transfer, Willie, I'm quite happy." He said, "I think you could play in the Premier League." Now, he didn't even know I was not training.
Yeah.
Well, he did know. Jim McLean, I was meant to approach Jim McLean and ask for training facilities, and I did. But I never got on with Beano. That was his nickname, Jim McLean. And Beano gave me a couple of lectures, and I went, "Nah, sorry." Well, I didn't tell Willie that I wasn't. But I was just playing every week.
Yeah.
And he said, "You're fine." He said, "So, what happened?" Premier League, first match, Aberdeen. Young boy up front, Stevie Archibald he's called. Here's me going about in one leg. Either won or withdrew or something like that. So it was a real...
Yeah.
In St Johnson, that was it. Well, believe it or not, there's a thing here. I had damage to my wrist. The Hearts.
Alright.
I used to go in the goal for the warm-up. Like the keeper and the fans loved all, and I knocked this ball over the crossbar and this thing here. It's called scaphoid.
Yeah.
I must have damaged it. I didn't know. And it got worse and worse, and I got a splint fitted to it and all the rest of it. But in January, we were sitting about third bottom or something, fourth bottom. I went to the doctor and he said, "I'm going to need to see a surgeon," and the surgeon said, "That's going to need an operation. I'm going to take a bit off your iliac crest bone here and I'm going to put it in here."
Alright.
He said, "That's how long it'll be off." He said, 6 weeks. "And if you don't get it done, you might lose control of your thing."
Right.
So I just did that, and Willie, well, the team got relegated. Did. And that was basically the end of my career with Hearts.
Right.
And then he gave me a free transfer. And I signed for St Johnson again with Alex Stewart. He was the manager because he went from Montrose to Ayr United, and then went from Ayr United to St Johnson. But that was basically my career was over at St Johnson because of I didn't play a lot of matches for them.
Yeah.
Because my knee was just getting worse and worse. And the thing was, the most interesting thing was, I came here with St Johnson. Alec got the sack at the end of the season, almost at the end of the season. Roger Hind, remember him? He's with Rangers.
Yeah.
He took over, he'd been the coach, he took over as manager of the first team and said, "Would I run the reserve team?" And we were short of players.
Mhm.
and I brought my two brothers over here,
Uh-huh.
and the three of us all played against Dunfermline reserves here
Ah,
for St Johnson.
right. Uh-huh. So, to finish up, how do you look back on your time here at Dunfermline? Do you look back with affection or?
I would never be what I am today,
Mm,
but I never pursued a career in football, and that is a regret. I think I should have did something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, but here at Dunfermline, I mean, the players, the managers, the fans, it was just bad luck,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And because you're so far away and you're not active in
Mm-hmm.
the game and
Yeah.
things like that, and I mean, coming here today and driving down the road, I used to do it every day,
Yeah.
every single day to be here.
Mm.
And it was really good. I mean, yeah, they're not the team we were.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was there, I'm blessed, and the fact was that Dunfermline, just think, they'd just been semi-final European Cup Winners'
Yeah.
Cup. I mean, how good a team is that?
Mm.
That's not a fluke,
Mhm.
not at all.
Mhm. Well, Dave, it's lovely to see you back here at East End Park, and it's been a pleasure talking to you.
No, thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.